Ladies and gentlemen, it's officially that time of year. Last week we did college football predictions, college football playoff, championship games, conference championships. Now it's time for the NFL. That's why we got Zeke on here today. We're doing records for each individual division and then Super Bowl picks, just like last year. No different. Zeke, it's great to have you on here. You got all that Dolphins gear on. We were just talking about the Dolphins and how they play on holidays.
Awful, except for Halloween in 2014 or 13.
Oh, that was a freaking minute ago.
Yeah. Cam Wake with the safety, it was great.
I miss Cam Wake.
Don't we all?
But we've got a shut up. But we've got some groundbreaking developments here in the Arrow world. Right next to me, got the sign.
Oh yeah.
Yep, I saw the sign. Great Ace of Base song. We're gonna be putting this thing up here soon. I had the parents here this weekend, so I just didn't really get to doing all of this. But for the start of college football, that sign will be up, baby.
Better be. I can't believe I didn't get one. What the hell?
Well, you'll be getting something else here soon.
Oh, good God.
Okay. For those of y'all watching right now, this is just for the people watching a minute and 30 into this video. The Era merch is coming soon. It's coming soon, and I'm just going to say there's some of my go-to slogans on there. I'm not going to say what they are, but there are some vintage slogans that are going to be printed on these shirts, and they're going to be distributed to my loyalist fans at first, and then they'll be out for purchase. But these things are going to be fuego, to say the least. Oh yeah, baby!
I can't wait.
Let's ride.
Right.
Giants country. What?
Just make sure you get a big size for the big fella here.
I'll get you a 4XL.
Yeah. I could do a 3 if it's big and tall. I shop at the big and tall store. It's great.
Just don't put it in the dryer. You got to hang it.
What, do I look like a jackass here?
I know. I sound like
my laundry.
She's lecturing me this whole weekend. It's parents' weekend here. She's lecturing me all weekend. Oh, you got to dry this way, dry it that way, put this.
Moms will always be moms, brother.
Oh, you're not kidding. I love her to death, but oh my, I got more pointers this weekend than one can comprehend.
So where do you want to start this bad boy off?
Well, we're gonna start in the NFC East. We're gonna do this thing division by division.
Oh.
And there's gonna be a few surprises in here. This is one of those, I will say, with these record predictions. There's some similarity with Zeke and I, and there's some differences. But this is one division where I would say that we see eye to eye with quite a few things. But Zeke, we're gonna pull yours up here first. Let me locate it. Here it is. Dodge. All right, there is Zeke's NFC East standings. Break it down.
Break it down? You want me to break it down?
Break it down, baby.
I'll tell you exactly how it is. You know how it made me feel to do what I did for the Giants?
Oh, I know that hurt.
It hurt. Now I sent you this. We did this late at night, the night that I sent it. And I've been going back and forth a lot on Washington and Philly. And you know how hard it is in the NFL after just winning a Super Bowl. A lot of things can change, You think, we're just going to run it back, Things don't always run that smooth, And the second day I'm not really too concerned about, but Quinyon Mitchell in his second year, Cooper DeJean, they're still young. Now, losing Slay, name-wise, it's big. Slay was still good last year, but he's getting up there in age. So it's not like it's a tremendous loss. But Philly is just so deep. Now, this is, I will tell it, a little spoiler for later. It's kind of why I went a different way than how I went on my division, because I think later in the year, the deeper teams obviously will prevail.
Yes.
And that is where I see Philly later. But Washington, to me, I think they're hungry. I think they got better. Overall, offensive line, bringing Laremy Tunsil in, former Dolphin. overall, I got confidence in Washington. So maybe too much. I hate Dan Quinn.
That's your boy.
I hate it. And as far as Dallas goes, I had to put Dallas at because I can't trust him. Especially if Micah, however that's going to unfold, he's not playing. Good luck. Good luck.
Well, that's just the thing with Dallas is there's not a lot of depth on that team to begin with.
Right.
And then if you don't have Micah Parsons, I mean, what's the identity of that defensive line?
Right.
There's virtually, it's almost like a line situation. Like there's virtually no pass rush. So I mean, I look at these standings and I like them a lot.
As you should. I'm a wise man. I've lived a long time. I've watched a lot of football, and let me tell you, maybe my mind will change if Jackson Dart ends up going in. Giants might be last. Who knows?
Oh, come on, you love Jackson Dart.
I had to throw that out there for all the Giants fans going crazy over Dart.
I wonder if they're going to keep the whole band together.
Probably.
All the four amigos.
I mean, Cleveland's keeping 4, so
that's what I'm saying. I wouldn't put him past that. I wouldn't put that past him. I just that there may be a trend developing here in the NFL, which are just having really, really compacted quarterback rooms, really busy quarterback rooms. Now, all right, now here's mine, and like I said, similarities and differences.
Yes.
And so on the top, I have Philly. I think Philly is still going to be a dominant team this year. They're great on the line of scrimmage. Both the offensive line, defensive line is great. Jalen Hurts, I think, is one of the most confident quarterbacks in the NFL. His cadence is unreal. Saquon Barkley, I mean, he's starting to get into the latter half of his career, and so both him and Derrick Henry, you never know where they're going to trend going into one year. But if you see the same version of Saquon you saw last year, forget about it. Love that receiving room. And that defense is plenty deep. I know there's a lot of youth, like you said, with Quinyon Mitchell and Scooper DeJean, but I still love a lot of the components of that defense. I mean, Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis. It's that thing is Nolan Smith. That thing is deep. Washington, they were very aggressive this offseason. Larry Tunsil, Deebo Samuel. They made some moves. They were active. They saw the progress they made last year. They said, what can we do to supplement this and build off of this? And I think they're going to gain some momentum this year. I think they can go far in the playoffs again.
Absolutely.
I just don't think that they're quite Philly just yet. Philly, to me, and I know it was just one Super Bowl run, but the way that they did it just signified to me that they are the gold standards. Just the level of dominance that they played with and the level of discipline, I think was unreal last year. And I think that there's very few teams in the NFL that are doing what Philly is doing behind the walls of their facilities as far as preparing these guys for big-time games. And you see it time and time again. They're one of those teams, they always have their shit together, and I look for that. And so even though Philly did what they usually do from a front office standpoint, they trimmed the fat. They moved off of guys that they know they can move off of, get good value from them, and retain guys within the organization that can have the same level of production. They draft well, right? Jahad Campbell, bring him in. I thought that was fantastic. But I love Milton Williams, but I think you can also draft another Milton Williams. And Darius Slay did great with Philly. But he's getting older, and you can find replacements for him as well. And you see it with this young secondary that they have. A lot of things like about Philly. The Giants, I think that for the first time since, holy shit, let me think. Maybe I was in 10th grade. I think that this team is actually making decisions that's advancing the organization. That's putting them steps ahead. I haven't felt any progress out of this team in years. I always thought they're making decisions that are putting them behind years and years and years. And now I feel like there's forward progress. There's forward momentum for the Giants. They're stepping in the right direction. I love them drafting Jackson Dart. I love them drafting Abdul Carter. I love them drafting Scadaboo. I think they're putting and there's actually what I look forward to, and I know that it's an intangible, but I look for morale. And I think that the morale of this Giants team is higher than it's been in years, unlike the fourth place team, the Dallas Cowboys. I've seen watching the NFL Network's training camp coverage, seeing some of the documentaries and just the reports coming out of that camp, that there's no pulse. There's no pulse. There's no aura. There's no identity. And there's, as per usual, constant noise, constant external noise, like the Michael Parsons situation. And this documentary and that, it's just, there's more external noise than internal development. And whenever I see that, it's a bad sign. And 6-11 may be harsh, but that's where I feel like they're going to be. I feel like I know it's a hot take. I think the Giants are a better team this year. Mm-hmm. It's interesting that we both see eye to eye with that.
I agree. I mean, don't get me wrong. I still don't like the Giants. I still don't really. I don't see a lot of value in them. I mean, yeah, okay, Greg, you're all excited preseason, this and that. Let's see how that team responds when adversity hits. Let's see how long they stay together.
And that's the thing too is everybody has a plan until they're punched in the mouth.
Yeah.
And vibes are always high in the preseason because you're playing second team defenses. Let's see. And I'm talking about everybody.
Yeah.
Like, I want to see how Jackson Dart. I want to see how Cam Ward's. I want to see how Shadur Sanders, Dylan Gabriel, all these guys. I want to see how they play against actual first-team defenses. Because what you see right now, it's going to be completely different than the looks they'll be getting when they're actually playing Week 8, Week 9, whenever those guys take the field.
Agreed.
All right. We're going to go coast to coast here. So now we're going to go to the AFC East. Zeke's home division. Let's bring it up. Dodge. There it is.
Now, when you bring up mine, you're going to have to say mine because I, unfortunately, can't see.
I see what you did there. That was clever, pal.
You can think it's clever all you want. The reality is I'm blind.
I don't know, man. I've seen you play darts before, and I beg to differ.
Be better.
You shot 3 bullseyes in a row. I'm telling you right now, Stevie Wonder can't do that.
Yeah, well, some of us are just greatness. I don't know what to tell you.
All right, so I'm looking at this right here, and there may be a little home cooking, but let me hear you analyze this. I think you're a little high on one aqua and orange team, but let's hear it.
Listen. I say what I say when it comes to Miami because I know what they are capable of. Now, I hate, personally for me, I know you enjoy record predictions, but for me, I can't put predictions on real records because each week is so different from the next. Like, so when you do it, you got to look at it as, okay, fully healthy. Every team's fully healthy. This is the situation. What is their best? So I look at it that way. Miami, fully healthy. I like their odds. Yes, they're very young in the secondary. It is what it is. I'm telling you right now, that defensive line is going to be one of the best defensive lines in football this year. Mark my words. Mm-hmm. It's going to be absolutely disgusting, the rotation. I mean, last night they had packages where they had Bradley Chubb, Chop Robinson, and Jalen Phillips all out there at once. I mean, they're going to get after quarterbacks this year. So I don't need the corners to be great. I just need them to be average. If you're average enough, and then Minka's got it way back there, I'm not worried.
Nothing wrong with being mid.
No, and listen, the defense, Miami's defense, was a top 10 defense last year. So, I'm not worried. I'm not worried as far as that goes. That offense, I'm telling you right now, Austin Jackson's already hurt. He should be playing week 1. But if anybody on that old line goes down, we're screwed. Because, let me tell you, especially Austin Jackson, if he can't start the season and Larry Borum's got to start at right tackle, you remember how I told you Liam Eichenberg might be the worst offensive lineman I've ever seen?
He's worse?
Yeah.
How can it get any worse?
He don't block nobody.
Do you think you could beat him?
No, but that's,
pads on.
I'm telling you, this guy is horrendous. That's why the Bears, who had a bad O-line, was like, yeah, no, you even so bad you can't play on our bad O-line. Like,
we don't have a spot for you, bub.
he's bad. He might have to start week 1. Probably not. Boston should be back, but that O-line is troubling. Especially, I'm excited on the left side because Patrick Paul is young in his second year. He's been coming along really good camp. Jonah Savanaya from Arizona that we drafted, we moved up in the second round to get him. He's gonna go through growing pains. That's what a rookie does. We won't fully know what's gonna happen with him, but that offensive line is everything. You know how it is. You win in the trenches.
Oh yeah.
So they lose guys in that offensive line. Miami's gonna be in trouble.
That's one of the main mantras of the show. You win in the trenches.
Exactly. So you know how it is, and I've complained to you about Miami's O-line for years. But overall, they can stay healthy. Just at a glance at it, that's why I like Miami where they are. I understand the hype in New England and this and that. Let's see what Drake May can continue to do. Let's see what an old Stephon Diggs is really all about. Let's pump the brakes here. All right, the rest of that O-line, Will Campbell's going to be a rookie. He's going to struggle at times. He's going to look. I think he'll look great at times too, but he's going to struggle. That's just the nature of it. The rest of that O-line, so let's pump the brakes on doing that. I think for this year, right now, that's why I got Miami where I got them.
And that's fair. And I also, I mean, I know the Jets are in fourth, but the win total for them caught my eye a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
7-10. I don't have them winning as many games. What 7 games do you see them winning?
Well, no, here's the thing. The reason I went 7, I went back and forth between 6 and 7 wins because of defense. I think defensively,
that's fair.
They're going to be very sound. They're going to stop a lot of points. And if Justin Fields, again, just needs to be a little bit above average, I think he can win a couple ball games. He shouldn't win. I'm not very high on the Jets, but and a lot of these rankings as far as records are going to be a game here, a game there. I could have gone up or down. The Jets are one of those. It could very well be a 6-win team. If things really go bad, it could be a 5-win team.
Yeah, I mean, that possibility is there.
I shot a little high on there just because I'm such a defensive guy that I'm like, all right, I'll give them the benefit. My heart says 6 though, but it was late, so maybe I was just
the doldrums were getting to you. It was time to take the old horse to the stable.
That's right.
All right, now let's bring mine up. My AFC East predictions. Give it to me. All right, there's mine. The order's a little bit different, but kind of the same. I got the Bills going 12-5 this year. I know that their defense is interesting. Like Tre'Davious White's injured right now, Maxwell Harrison's injured right now, but I think you'll be seeing those guys at some point here very soon. Offensively, we said this about Buffalo for years when Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, Sean McDermott were still first coming onto the scene as contenders. The one gripe was they're very pass heavy. They don't have a run game. They're the opposite now. They have a 2-headed monster with James Cook and my boy Ray Davis.
Oh, you do. I will give Brian that. He's been a huge Ray Davis guy. You even said it during the live stream last year. That's your guy.
I love Ray Davis. I watched him play Kentucky. I thought he was incredible. He had that game against Florida. He had almost 300 rushing yards. I'm like, this guy is an absolute dog. And while there's still no distinguished star receiver on Buffalo, yes, Josh Allen trusts Shakir. He trusts 100%. Kincaid. He trusts Knox. I mean, despite the drop, Kincaid has always been reliable for him, and he'll still go to him a lot this year. And I like them adding Josh Palmer. So I think it's a very balanced attack up in Buffalo. New England, I have vocalized I'm a bit higher on New England than Zeke is, and it may bite me in the ass. So there's a few teams I'm a little high on that may bite me in the ass this year, and New England's one of them. But I've got them at 10-7 just because I think that team is moving differently with Mike Vrabel right now, and the vibe is is just different. You didn't see it with Gerard Mayo last year. Like, it felt very status quo, very stale. This
10 wins.
This is a team in motion. Now, granted, they're a lot. I think they're a lot like Denver last year, where they kind of pop off, quietly win 10 games, get into the wild card, first round out. I don't think that they're built to win a playoff game yet, but I think that this team can compile 10 wins with the work that they did to the offensive line. I like their defensive line this year. I think that their receiving core is enhanced. Miami again is a team for me that this was the average. This record prediction is the average of my ceiling and floor for Miami.
Mm-hmm.
I think this team can be 7-10. I think they can be 9-8. I think they can be 5-12.
Yep.
Depending on like this is a team with a lot of variation to me. 7-10 is just that middle mark. Could be higher, could be lower. That's my over/under win total for Miami, if you will.
100%.
It's 7-10. Because, like you said, and I resonate with what you said, if this team stays healthy and everything goes to plan, yeah, they can squeak in as a 7 or 6 seed in the playoffs. But if it falls apart, yeah, it's going to be a bad year. It's going to be a very bad year. If anybody in that O-line goes down, if Tua goes down, if anybody in the D-line goes down, yeah, it could be disastrous.
I will say this right now, they won't make the playoffs. I can confidently say that, even if things go fully right, because I just don't fully believe in Mike McDaniel. I don't believe what's going on. I just there's too many issues, and the AFC is just too deep.
Well, and that's another thing is the dynamic right now.
Yeah.
Still having Mike McDaniel there, still having Chris Greer there. I think this is very much a bridge year into some change, because the big thing is you don't want bringing a new head coach in is a big ordeal, and they're going to move off of Tyreek Hill at some point. So you don't want to have it all happen at once. There's organizations that have to go into a transition here.
Yeah.
Mike McDaniel, Chris Greer, Tyreek Hill, naturally they're all on their way out. But the timing has to be right. And then number 4, the Jets. I don't think Justin Fields has looked great. I don't really see the fit. You said defensively they're going to be great, but they're going to be like the Michigan Wolverines last year. If they're going to beat you, it's going to be 20-17.
Yeah.
That's the kind of team this is going to be. All right.
And even defensively, I think they'll be good.
Yes.
You know, I and the thing with Buffalo for me is their secondary worries me. It worries me. Trey White hurt all the time, and he's ancient. He hasn't been good in years. Let's be honest.
There's a lot of older guys on that defense.
Older, banged up. They're just the secondary worries me.
And so Buffalo, you'll see later on in the show, I have very high expectations for this team this year. But it's like a Miami. That's if everything goes to plan. And we know in the NFL, there is no such thing as a perfect world. That's right. So shit is going to happen. All right, let's move on to the AFC North.
The North.
Or no, NFC North. We're going NFC, AFC, NFC, AFC.
All right. Hey, you're the man with the plan.
All right, let's bring up Zeke's NFC North standings.
Now, again, like I said, as far as record goes, I just take a stab at it. Records for me, placement in a division, I feel very strong about. Record-wise, I don't fully stand on a lot of those all the time, because so much could change. But I feel strong as far as who's going to be where, you know.
All right, here it is. I had to find it for a second. I had that was weird. Okay, here they are. These are Zeke's NFC North standings. There's not a lot. I will say, from top to bottom, there is not a big gap at all, and I don't have a big gap either.
No, I think it'll be a very, very competitive division.
Me too. I think that all 4 teams are good and can legitimately compete for a playoff spot.
100%. I don't. The Vikings are just such a big question mark.
Yeah.
Because of JJ McCarthy. The rest of it, look, well, we were talking about how they also got to get receiver help. It doesn't look like the Thielen thing is going to happen because Carolina won't let him go.
Yeah.
So as far as filling in for Jordan Addison, they're going to have to find somebody. They'll get a receiver somewhere. They'll claim somebody or make a trade for a vet. They'll find something. The defense speaks for itself with Flores. JJ's just another guy that, not just because he's a Michigan guy, I've never seen it in him. Now, as far as, it's just like it was in Michigan for him. He's got a really good defense, solid run game. They beefed up the old line. They spent a lot on the old line. Like, it could work for him. But we don't know. We just don't know. Caleb, I know you love you some Caleb Williams. Oh, man. Actually, Brian's going to paint his fingernails this season.
That will – you'll have a better chance of the Raiders going to the Super Bowl than that happening. Let's just say that's good in comparison.
So, overall, in Green Bay, let me tell you, that receiving room, I've said this for years, I'm excited for Golden because I think he'll be pretty good. But the rest of it, I'm good.
I think that I think there's high hopes for Golden up there.
Oh, yeah.
I will say, I think that they're leveraging because they weren't very active. We said that during free agency, why wasn't Green Bay more aggressive with getting a receiver? I think that they're very confident in what they have in Golden. I think that was their plan all along because that kind of came out of left field. I did not project them to get Golden in the draft.
Yeah,
I didn't see it coming, but I think they have high hopes for him becoming a star. And so when they look at that receiving group, they're saying, yeah, we got Watson, we got Romeo Doubs, but this is going to be the guy that makes this room complete. And maybe he is. I mean, I feel like every year now we're seeing some receiver come out of college and absolutely freaking light it up. And maybe it's Matthew Golden. I think he's the best receiver of this draft. I said that going into it, so maybe it is him. But I think Green Bay's leveraging a lot of their belief into him being the X factor in that unit.
Yeah, no, for sure. Well, Watson's always hurts. Always a hamstring or an ankle with him because he's a faster guy. Romeo Doubs a good receiver, but he can't do it all on his own. Like, Matthew Golden's he's gonna have a lot of expectations this year.
And he's gonna have a workload.
Yeah. So, Green Bay is one of those ones for me. I'm not a big Green Bay guy this year. I gotta be honest.
No, me neither, honestly. I mean, again, I think they're a playoff team or a fringe playoff team, but kind of like what they were last year. Right. First round, early out.
Yep.
They're a good team, not a great team.
I couldn't agree more.
All right, let's get mine up here. The Brian Gregoire official NFC North predictions.
Brian Gregoire.
So I have the same record and projected spot for the Lions, 12-5. I think that they take a step back this year, meaning they don't win 15 games. Like, wow, that's such a huge step back.
Right.
This is still a very well coached team. Yeah. All right. I don't love them having a replaced offensive and defensive coordinator. Like we said in our episode earlier in the summer, it felt like the window semi-closed when that happened last year, but this is still a ridiculously talented offense. There's really not a hole. Defensively, we question the pass rush, we question the secondary, but there's still some X factor guys on that defense. It's a good roster overall, and so and I think it's good enough to win 12 games this year, win the North, went through the playoffs. They haven't showed us much promise when it comes to that these past several years. But as far as winning this division, I think they've got it. Number 2, I have Green Bay as well. I think they'll win 10 games. I have a tough time putting them at 9. I think they win 10 games this year. And then, let me tell you, I wrestled over this Bears and Vikings thing for probably about 15 or 20 minutes. And I flipped back and forth.
It's hard. It's a hard division.
It's and those two right there, because it's such a dilemma. It's such a paradox with these two teams, because I think Chicago is going to make strides this year.
Absolutely.
They had a strong start last year. They fell apart as the season went on. And that's usually an indicator of internal issues going on. And it was. It was time to move on from Eberflus. Everybody wanted him gone. You've got that kind of black cloud, that monkey on your back. And when you throw it off, it's like a weight's lifted off your shoulders. And then you bring in something like Ben Johnson. You can already tell by how he's approaching Caleb Williams. Not quite to the degree of Vrabel, but it's a different vibe. It's a different vibe. I think that he's a lot harder on Caleb Williams than Eberflus ever was. And that's gonna go a long way because Caleb needs a little tough love. And so I think that's gonna go a long way for Chicago. Fantastic job beefing up that old line in free agency that needed a lot of help. And I think that one of my top players this year that's going to have a huge breakout season is Rome Odunze. I think he's primed for it. I think we saw flashes of it last year, but I think you're going to see more consistent greatness in production out of Rome Odunze this year. So I've got the Bears at 3, and now you'll see it's the only division I have this for. 2 teams tied, 9-8 and 9-8. That just because that's just baseline for me right here. Like Minnesota, I can't give them 10 wins, but I can't give them a losing record either. So 9-8 is just the easy median. I predicted Minnesota to go 6-11 last year, and they shoved that right up the freaking wazoo and won 14 games. Nobody has ever flipped me on my head like the Minnesota Vikings did last year. A giant fuck you to me, and I deserved it because that was my fault for overlooking Kevin O'Connell, and I'll never do it again.
Damn you!
One of the most well-coached teams. Like this is. It's borderline Mike Tomlin. Like, I just don't see this team having losing records. Again, big mystery. Don't know what I'm getting out of J.J. McCarthy. You got the whole Jordan Addison situation. You got a lot of guys banged up, suspensions. It's not the best situation, but they're one of those teams. They always just somehow figure it out. And so 9-8 for the Vikings. And now speaking of teams that always figure it out, let's throw up the AFC North for Zeke. I think this is one that we're very similar on.
You're gonna have to read mine off to me.
My ass. You can see it.
No, I right hand to God, I cannot see it.
You can't see those logos.
Not from this far. No, I'm a blind man.
Well, okay. He's got the Ravens 13-4.
Right.
He's got the Steelers 10-7. He's got the Bengals 7-10. And he's got the Browns 6-11, and so the Bengals 7-10. Let's hear it on that.
Let me tell you, Cincinnati is pathetic. I'm done. I mean, I was never really rocking with them like that anyway. You always have, and I get it. It's, it's a team you want to root for. I don't have any beef with them. That defense is horrendous. They've made no additions at corner, absolutely zero. They're gonna let Trey Henderson go. Well, I say that, but their asking price is way too high. Yeah. So at some point, it's really all over the guaranteed money too. So they got the length, they got all that hammered out. It's always over the guaranteed money.
Yeah, that's what it comes down to.
Even if they bring Trey Henderson back, guess you know what the reality is? The defense is still gonna shock. But Joe Burrow is just so good, and Jamar does what he does. T. Higgins, you saw T got hurt the other day, right? His ankle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's just fucking phenomenal, isn't it?
He'll be all right. He'll come back, but it's just they already lost a guard for the year. Like things just don't go right for the Bengals. They don't. No. They just don't. It's one thing after the next, after the next, after the next.
It pisses me off, but it's the reality of it.
But like it'll be. Though I put 7-10 because obviously they're going to win enough ball games scoring the points that they normally score when they play teams, like a Carolina or a Tennessee, like games like that. But overall, I couldn't go any higher. Luckily, I gave them 7. I almost gave them 6.
I got something to say about the Bengals. That'll supplement to that, but I will say I think that our order is the same, but the records are different.
Yeah.
Let's throw mine up. Let's see how mine compares. Because we do see very eye to eye with a lot of these teams. So we have the same record for the Ravens. And I'm going to say this right now. The Baltimore Ravens are going to be the best team in the AFC this year. They're going to be the scariest team in the AFC this year. I think that this team is going to be very dynamic. Year 2 of Lamar and Derrick Henry, I think it's going to be even scarier. The defense is more juiced up now. I think this team is starting to really click on all 4 cylinders. And when the Ravens are peaking and they're healthy, they're petrifying, and they're starting to figure it out in the playoffs a little bit more. So that's bad news for the rest of the AFC, to say the very least, and the NFL, to say the very least. Steelers, again, seem death taxes and Mike Tomlin having a winning record. I think they're 9-8 again this year. Are we watching 2015 Aaron Rodgers? No, but I do think that the old man finds a way to rope together 9 wins. Now the Bengals add them at 8-9, and that's really just because that offensive attack is so dynamic with Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. We saw Chase Brown really pop off last year. I think he'll have a good year 2 as well. And that was with a bad offensive line. That was really impressive of him. I don't think anybody saw that coming last year. So hat tilt to Chase Brown. But this is my statement about the Bengals right here. Without that core 3, without Burrow, Chase, and T. Higgins, this is a 5-12 football team. That combination is 3 added wins. Yeah. And I don't trust the coaching staff in Cincy either. So that's how strong that duct tape is. That's those 3 individuals. The Browns, you got 4 fucking quarterbacks. I don't know, 6-11.
Yeah, and even
that's all I gotta say.
Even Cleveland could be 5. Cleveland's a mess.
Oh, you tore your dress. What a mess.
Sucks.
All right. Here's Zeke's NFC South predictions here. And this one felt like a rather easy division to predict.
Yeah.
We're both very high on Tampa Bay. What's your thoughts on Carolina?
Carolina, I will say this, even though I've never been a big Bryce Young guy, I do think he's improving. Mm-hmm. I think the receiving room will be good for him. I think it's good that they're going to keep Thielen. It's always good to have a vet like that in the room, especially with the young man there from Arizona that they drafted, who you're very high on. You are very high on. Between him, my boy Xavier Legette. Carolina's an interesting one. They have some good pieces. J.C. Horn, Derek Brown, defensively. They're never going to be a team that's going to wow you, but you see it every year, especially the last couple of years. They've been scrappy some weeks. I'll never forget when I was down in Tuscaloosa with you, and they're playing Miami, and remember they went up 14-0 on us.
They're a scrappy bunch. I think Carolina is really interesting to me this year because I think they're in a position like the Giants where they're not going to make the playoffs. They're not going to make the drastic improvement, but it's like brick by brick by brick. Right. They get a foot deeper into the ground every week. The hole gets deeper every week, and they just keep getting better. Whereas the New Orleans Saints, that's going to be a hell of a squad to watch this year.
Yeah, you ever? This is gonna sound really gross, but it's the only way I can think about it. Ever take a nasty diarrhea shit?
Yeah, I think I did the other day.
No, and then get up and look at it, and you're just absolutely amazed that something could look that gross.
That's the Saints?
That's the Saints this year, my friend.
Oh, my God. That's like post-dinosaur barbecue.
That whole – they got to do a lot of reworking down there.
Yeah, and it's – I like Shuck, but depending on how this year goes, it may be Garrett Nussmeier or Cade Klubnik time down there when it comes to next year's draft.
They're going to be up there. They're definitely going to be up there, and You know, it's one of those things. Like if there's a guy that you fully believe is the franchise guy, you go get him. So uh, New Orleans could definitely be in that conversation because they're bad.
I mean, it's the post Drew Brees era. They invested a shit ton of monies into that run. Didn't pan out, and now they're in the post window drought, and they'll be back at some point. But damn it, it's going to take a while.
Yep.
All right, here's mine. I'm going to throw mine up. Probably won't break it down too much, just because I think that we're almost identical here. Yeah, the only difference is I have the Saints losing one more game.
Yeah.
I think they're 4-13, which I think is the worst team in the league in my standings. Again, I love the match with Baker Mayfield in Tampa Bay. I think that it's a match made in heaven. I think that's where he's always supposed to be. This team has won the AFC South 5 years in a row now. I mean, if you'd have ever told me 10 years ago that the Bucks would win this division 5 years in a row, I tell you, you're out of your fucking mind. But here we are. Mike Evans has had 11,000-yard seasons in a row. I think this year you can make it 12. I think the Falcons are perfectly mid. I like Michael Penix Jr. I love Bijan Robinson. I think Drake London's going to have a good year. There's a lot of guys on this team that I like, but it's still a very up-and-coming team, kind of like the Panthers are, and then the Saints. I mean, hold on to your hat. All right, now it's time for things to get spicy. Zeke's AFC South standings to the general public will seem somewhat sane, but mine, you're gonna think maybe I'll sip at some absinthe when I made mine, but you're gonna see. All right, Zeke, let me hear it.
Read them out.
Texans 10-7.
That's
Jags
right.
3 games behind at 7-10. Titans 6-11.
Right.
6-11.
Yep. And you know what? Houston, we've had this conversation. That O-line sucks.
Dog shit.
But CJ will move the ball. They will score some points, and defensively, they're still pretty sound. I mean, Derek Stingley's an absolute dog. So they're gonna do their thing. Houston, they're just better than everybody in that division. They just are. Jacksonville is one of those teams we both know has no identity. Like, who are they? Who is it? I'm sorry, Trevor Lawrence. I'm getting tired of this. Cam Newton said it the other day. Top 5 pay for bottom 5 results. And I don't usually agree with Cam Newton, but
I was gonna say
this is one man. Trevor just hasn't shown it. He hasn't shown it. He's got weapons. Brian Thomas is a monster already. Travis Hunter, we'll see how that all plays out. Jacksonville, though, good roster, but I can only put so much faith in it. Indy, other than Tyler Warren, Michael Pittman's good, but for how long, he always gets banged up. The offensive line got worse, actually, with Quentin Nelson getting older. Will Fry's going to Minnesota. And then your boys, the Titans, who, quite honestly, and I'm going to spoil it. Yeah, you're in love with the Titans this year, and I think it's absolutely ridiculous.
There's always that one team that comes out of the woodwork, and there's been the past 2 years. There's like from absolute nowhere, the Texans in 2023, the Redskins last year, and I think the Titans are going to be that team this year. So without further ado, let's bring my psychopathic AFC South predictions up. And there it is. I have the Titans at 11-6. But I say that I see them going 11-6 or 10-7. But I think that either is enough to win the AFC South. I'm not high on the Texans at all. I thought they looked scrappy in their playoff game against the Chiefs, but I don't love that O-line at all, especially now after losing Tunsil. I like, what is it? And I like Joe Mixon, but you got to be able to create those gaps. Like you said, CJ Stroud's going to move the ball, but I don't love that receiving core either. I think that outside Nico Collins, I don't think that receiving core is much of my identity. Defensively, they're stingy. I love Stingley. I love Petrie. Like, there's a lot of guys on the defense that I really like, but this feels like a 9-8 football team to me. And I think the Titans come out of nowhere and absolutely shock the world. I look at what Cam Newton, or not Cam Newton, what Cam Ward did at each destination he's been at. Incarnate Word, yes, Incarnate Word, Washington State, and Miami. It was an uphill battle every time, and every time he excelled. This is another uphill battle here, and this is number 4 for him. He's used to this. And so, year 2 of Brian Callahan, I don't think anybody sees this team coming. The Jaguars, to me, are like another Dolphins. I think the Jaguars have a higher ceiling. I think this team can win anywhere from 10 to 6 games. If they come out of nowhere and win this division, I wouldn't be surprised. If they suck ass and go 5-12, I wouldn't be surprised either. I think the Colts suck. I'm going to call it straight up as it is. We've had many conversations about the Colts recently. The quarterback room is very bad. The roster outside of Tyler Warren and Michael Pittman when he's healthy, and Jonathan Taylor when he's healthy, common theme when he's healthy, very bad. I'm not big on the Colts anymore. I got them at 5-12. All right, let's go out. We got that over with. Now let's go out to the West Coast. As Jim Morrison says, the West is the best. And so, yeah. Now this one, Zeke's got the Seahawks at 10-7, the Rams at 9-8, Cardinals at 8-9, the Niners at 6-11. I want to hear you expand on the Seahawks and the Niners a little bit.
So the Seahawks, they won 10 games last year. Now, you know how I hate Colin Cowherd, okay? Me and him are pretty similar on how we feel about the Seahawks this year. Last year, first year head coach, defensive minded, slowly got better throughout the year. Now you look at it with Sam Darnold coming, Sam Darnold is, which shocker, Colin likes the team that's the quarterback, Sam Darnold. Real shocker.
That's his fantasy.
It really is. The guy's freaking believable. But Seattle, okay, you lose DK. I've never been a huge DK guy. He makes plays, obviously, but he's a guy he's a hothead. You can live without him. Cooper Kupp's another guy, when healthy, will contribute. It's going to be weird seeing him in a Seahawks uniform.
I know. I'm not going to like it.
But him and JSN, I think, is a really good combo. Kenneth Walker in the backfield, when he stays healthy, is absolute dog. The defense is only going to continue to get better with Tariq Woolen back there. I like everything Seattle's doing, man. You know me, I love defensive ball. And it wins you a lot of games, and they are very sound defensively. So, in a division where I went back and forth with them in the Rams, the Rams, for me, is so iffy with that Stafford back.
Yeah.
I just don't know where to put it or how to put it, because one wrong hit and he's done for the year.
Well, disc issues are a big deal.
Right. Like, this is not like a minor injury. He knows that team needs him. And, okay, if he goes down, Jimmy G comes in. He can win you some ball games, especially with Puka and Devontae Adams and Kyron and all that. That's great. But I don't know. I just feel like Seattle might be a little more steady because you just don't know with Stafford right now. So I would have gave the Rams probably more wins than maybe the division if Stafford was 100% healthy, but there's just unknown right there. So I went with what I felt was going to be more sound. Now the Niners, they're absolutely falling apart. They got no O-line depth. Their O-line, other than obviously Trent, who is playing until the end of time, it's insane. Defensively, they lost too many guys. The secondary is weak. Yeah, you got Nick Bosa and Fred Warner, two of the best defensive players at their positions. But the Niners, to me, the receiving room's banged up. It's just – and Kyle Shanahan. We both don't like Kyle Shanahan. So we don't trust him. It's not that we just don't like him. We don't trust him. It's hard to trust him. So with the issues that they have, I had to put him down there because I don't see it being promising for them this year.
No, I think that team has too many weak points, and very Dallas Cowboys to me. I think they're very similar. The depth is bad. And Seattle, is by far the most reliable team in this division. Now, let me throw mine up here. We've got some similarities and some differences. I still love the Rams winning it because I love that defensive line. I love Kyron Williams. I love the Devontae Adams pickup. Again, this very much hinges on Matt Stafford. If he goes down, it changes everything. And I have Seattle at 9-8. I could see them going 11-6 too. I like Seattle. I think they're gonna be the hallmark of consistency this year. I think they're a playoff team. I do. I think that they squeak in. You give Sam Darnold a good situation, he's gonna flourish. I think the Cardinals continue to build up. I think they're in the same category as the Giants and the Panthers. They're movers. They're teams in motion. I've said them multiple times here in the show. They're a team in motion. They're moving in the right direction. I think Marvin Harrison Jr. has another like Roma Dunze. I think he has a big year too. And San Fran, like you said, that O-line depth, cornerback depth. There's no receiver room. And I like Brock Purdy, but we've seen what he's done when his main guys go down. He's never worked with a receiving core this bad. And so there's not really a big sample size. He may has taken the steps as a quarterback to where he can make these guys shine, but we're not going to know until we see it. And so with all those question marks and especially questions surrounding depth, I don't like questions surrounding depth. 6-11. All right, let's go AFC West, and then we're going to throw these Super Bowl picks up.
I was gonna say I got to run here soon. I hate to be that guy, but
oh yeah, we're gonna blast through the AFC West, and then throw the Super Bowl picks up.
all right.
So Zeke's got the Chiefs 12-5, Chargers 11-6, Broncos 10-7, Raiders 6-11.
Very tough division. All three of those top teams, dogs everywhere. I had to put Kansas City where I put them because, again, it's just one of those things. Until you show me otherwise,
yeah,
that's where it is. Defensively, Denver scares the shit out of me. That D-line,
yeah,
they're hunters, man. They're hunters. And the team is well coached. And Bo Nix, I think, could just get better and better.
Oh, yeah.
It's really comfortable. Again, he played the Saints the other night, and that's in the preseason. So, take that for whatever you want.
But he looked comfortable last year.
100%. It's just getting better. And to be honest, Denver's wide receiver room is not all that great. So the fact that he does what he does already is very promising for them. I think the backfield might continue to be a little bit of a underwhelming position for Denver. Even with, with JK, it's like when he's healthy, there's a lot of guys. But
I think we lost you, Zeke. Your mic's not working. Oh, there you are.
That's a big deal losing later for the Chargers. Yes, Jeremiah was calling me. I'm sorry.
Oh no, you're fine. You're fine. Jeremiah, what a freaking gem.
But no, I was saying, Justin Herbert, how I feel about him. To hell with him.
Oh, Justin Herbert's fan club president, Zeke Gregoire. All right, now we'll throw my AFC West up here. I too have the Chiefs winning because, like you said, otherwise I'll have them winning. But if this is the year where there's a change of guard, this could be the year. And if you see the Chargers, if you see the Broncos win this division, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, the fact you have Andy Reid, Sean Payton, and Jim Harbaugh and Pete Carroll in the same division is absolutely insane. And you have the Raiders at 6-11, but I only have them there because of their roster. Their roster is one of the worst rosters in the NFL. But they're going to be a 6-11 team. That's a tough out, just because that's how every Pete Carroll team plays. It's going to be a stingy freaking team this year.
It is, and it kills me to even hear you say that, because of the fact that, I absolutely hate everything about them.
Oh, come on, those are your boys.
No, it's absolutely not.
They're going to. I think that this is a year that culturally that they take steps but then they'll start to use free agency in the draft to really build this team. I mean, obviously, I love the Ashton Jancy pick.
Yeah, I do too.
They're going to need a lot more work done than that. All right. Zeke's official Super Bowl 60 pick. I cannot believe it's Super Bowl 60. 250 years of America and 60 years of the Super Bowl. Here's Zeke's rendition of it. Ravens and Eagles.
Ravens, Eagles. That's right.
Who do you have winning this thing?
I'm going to go Philly. Even though it's hard to repeat, I have no trust. Absolutely no trust in Lamar Jackson.
That's fair. I mean, a lot of these playoff games he has imploded in.
So I'm going to go with Philly. A lot of people won't like that. I know Jonah won't like that.
Well, there's a lot of Giants fans up there, so they're really going to hate seeing Philly do anything.
True. This is true. This is very, very, very true. But I think that'd be the best. I think it'll be the best overall matchup, and I can't wait to hear yours because I know yours already, and you're gonna have a lot of people up here very happy. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh, I know, and I'm gonna say it right now. I had a very tough time making this pick because I grew up a Patriots fan, and so it kills me to even make this pick. But nonetheless, in this game, you got to take emotions out of it and just let the facts present themselves. I have a Bills-Eagles Super Bowl, and I think that the Buffalo Bills win this thing this year. Oh. I think that at some point they're going to get over the hump. At some point they're going to get over that Chiefs hump. They may avoid the matchup this year, but there's just something internally inside of me telling me this is the Bills' year. This is the Bills' year. It's the last year of Highmark Stadium. I mean, there's freaky stuff that goes on when it comes to teams shutting down stadiums and them being really good. I mean, I know the Niners didn't win it all in 2013, but when they shut down Candlestick Park, that team was on fire. If they didn't play the Legion of Boom, they probably win the whole damn thing. If they play the Broncos, the Falcons. If they don't play my Patriots, they probably win the whole damn thing the year they shut down the Georgia Dome.
Oh God!
And there's something about the emotion of closing down a stadium for good. It's been failure after failure for the Bills at Highmark Stadium in the playoffs. But I think that this may be the year that they get the monkey off their back. And now I will say this. Neither Zeke and I had the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, and that was tough for me because I'm usually a guy, I'm usually a very chalky picker, right? I mean, Final Four, National Championship, Super Bowls. It's tough for me to not pick a Chiefs or an Alabama or a Patriots back in the day to be in the Super Bowl. I just think that this is I think that this is the time where the Chiefs, I'm not going to say they're going to fall off because they're not going to, but I don't think that they're going to be as much of a factor as they used to be because Travis Kelce's phasing out. Reality is Andy Reid only has so many years left he's going to coach for. This whole Rashee Rice situation is very weird. And Chiefs players have admitted themselves the external factors have been a lot. Travis Kelce said it. I was not as focused last year because of external factors. Well, there's not a lot of external factors up in Buffalo right now. And I don't think there's a team out there that wants it more than these Bills. I mean, you got, and I went back and forth with them and the Ravens because I think the Ravens are an easier team to explain going to the Super Bowl than the Bills. I think they have more depth, but it just feels like the Bills' year. I think if you get a matchup with the Bills and the Ravens in the playoffs again, I would take the Bills to win. The Eagles, you can't present an NFC team to me that's going to knock them off. And so I have them going to the Super Bowl. Like I said, it's very hard to repeat. So I've got the Buffalo Bills winning this thing.
Absolutely not.
I knew that was going to piss you off, and I never thought the day would come where I would predict that to happen. But it's just what my intuition's telling me this year.
Yeah, well, fly Eagles fly.
Well, like that pig said, that's all, folks. That's our division predictions, each team in the NFL, how it's going to stack out, and our Super Bowl picks. Very soon here, we're going to have in-season programming, covering games live, breaking down games after they happen. That's all coming. But for now, that's all, folks. Thank you, Zeke, for coming on. Absolutely. And thank you all for watching. Have a great day.